Yo, what's up? Greetings, my brothers, my fellow brothers out here in the world, traveling, looking for a good time, looking for happiness, whatever you might be looking for, business opportunities, whatever it may be. I just want to get on here and speak on a few things, man. As far as it comes down to traveling in the passport bro community, I think my brothers, I've been seeing a lot of back and forth on the internet with the women, and it's just like in a relationship with women. You might not feel like you're in a relationship with them, which you don't have to be in a exclusive relationship with them, but black women and black men in the United States always kind of are, in theory, in a relationship, whether it's together or not. It's a toxic thing going on, and the ladies are mad because the guys are leaving and taking the resources, and there's still plenty of guys that's around here entertaining you. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of guys say, y'all mad because y'all want these guys that's leaving to be there waiting for you when you're through playing with these other guys, man. Y'all always been able to have your cake and eat it too. And now that the men doing it, y'all taking issue with that, man. And I'm one of the people, I travel, man. I'm a man that, I'm gonna give you a little background on myself. My parents, they've been married like 53 years. I come from a two-parent home, and two southern down-home strict parents, and I have 4 sisters. I'm the only boy, and in a way, I feel like I was kind of, trained to be kind of sympathetic towards, the plight of the woman to a degree, because of all them sisters I have. My dad was always out providing, man. He ain't never really sit around and, kick game to me about, how to deal with females or whatnot. But I learned a lot of things on the way. I became a father early in life, man. I had my first kid. I got 2 kids. I got a daughter and a son. I had my first kid when I was in high school, man. I was maybe 16 years old when her mother got pregnant. Her mother was a grown-ass woman. Not real older than me, but she was grown nevertheless, though. You know what I mean? Probably a few years of age difference. But, and my second kid, his mother was a little younger than me. So I had both ends of the spectrum. And I ended up raising my son totally by myself. I think maybe that relationship with his mother lasted longer before he was here than it did once he got here. Because, I knew her growing up and stuff. It was a friend of mine's sister. So, and we maybe stayed together like 3 years after he was born. And then, the older, by the age difference being different, the older she got, the more we started to grow apart. But I ended up raising my son by myself, pretty much. And me and my son, we had a pretty good relationship, man. He's a pretty good kid. And, I raised him independent with no help from his mom. And every now and then when I would get a new lady in my life and she find out about it, I would have issues with her. And she would call herself trying to take him from me. We'd end up in court. But always side, though, because she wasn't in his life. She wasn't relevant in his life. The only people knew me at the schools were the teachers and all that. But to sum it all up with that, the of his mother. You know what I'm saying? hats on the bed. I was just saying this and was a man, you know. I mean, I was real sympathetic to the plight of single mothers and things like that, man, because I didn't know any better. I was kind of, by my sisters and by my mother, kind of trained to be sympathetic towards women. And, you know, I have 4 beautiful sisters, man. 2 of them are nurses, one of them is a doctor, and one of them's nurse degree, but he's like a supervisor of the postal service. Man, I was trained by them kind of be sympathetic, and not purposely, but, you know, I thought they were, maybe they did know what they were doing, but, you know, I always kind of was sympathetic toward females with kids, things like that. But honest and truly, man, you know, after God went through, I was raising my kid by myself, and, you know, the baby mama drama with my son's mom, and I told him, man, who's not the mother, I really understand, and not because of my son's mother, the thing I was dealing with her, just the single mothers I dated while dealing with that, you know what I mean? And the things, you know, me calling myself trying to be fair and overlook certain red flags and trying to be polite, you know, it work. They single mothers for a reason, you know what I mean? I can't start his own. Personally, my 40s now, traveling since I was early 20s. I'm a single man, but I do have friends to stay, having, getting ladies. I prefer traveling and meeting women, but to not on some I want to be in a relationship thing, but have fun. See you next time when I'm in the country. But, you know, I don't knock nobody that's looking for ships abroad. My old head, this ain't me. I'm just peace, you know what I mean? And I like being around, I like to visit countries that have people of African descent that, you know, that are in the Western Hemisphere. You know, I don't like, I never went on a trip to Africa because it doesn't interest me, you know, being, you know, in the United States. You know, I just, to me, it's a personal thing, you know, as far as history and the slave trade and all that. I couldn't see myself going back somewhere where our own people kind of betrayed us along with the colonizers, you know what I mean? To you know, to disperse their own people, man. Our people weren't slaves, they were enslaved. And their own people helped out in that process. So I wouldn't dare go back to Africa and call myself trying to set up any roots over there. You know, I'm just not interested in that. And Africa pretty much got colonized anyway, everywhere but Ethiopia. Pretty much colonized, so, you know. And to me, I think personally, Ethiopian women are the prettiest women in Africa. That's my personal opinion. But back to the subject. I like to travel to countries big Afro presence, because that's kind of my preference. The Afro, I like their curves. I like beautiful hair. Like you know, when out in those countries, especially the DR, I see a lot of brothers down there, you know, being happy, just being bro, together and just enjoying the atmosphere without having to worry about, you know, just we have to worry about here in the States. You know, everybody, when you come from somewhere in the States, or if you're already in the States and you're not a black man, is exploit the black man for success. You know what I mean? So it's great to be somewhere where you're not being stepped on, you're not being singled out, where you looking around and everybody looks like you. It's a good feeling to be like that. And I've heard people say the same thing about Africa, but you know, more power to them if they like to visit Africa, you know. But it's just not my personal preference. But I think us as brothers, we need to stop tearing each other down and, you know, and stop categorizing ourselves, man. I hear a lot of people talk about the Pookies and Ray Rays, you know, and they're all Pookies and Ray Rays in society, man, and, you know, and that's a fact, man, that's a fact, but you can't blame them for these women's actions, though. That's how I feel. I feel like you gotta hold the women accountable for what they doing when it comes down to that. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, every other race has their Pookies and Ray Rays, whether you want to believe it or not. But we the only ones that kind of beat our Pookies and Ray Rays down a little bit. But you know, the women stand in solidarity, man. Whether right or wrong, they stand and back each other, and you know, women stick together, even if they kin to you. You know what I mean? Women will stick together. You know, your women kin to you will tell you to stick with a bad woman just because she a woman. And you know, womanhood trumps everything. So I feel, and I'm not mad at that. You know, because I'm not like every other YouTuber, man. I don't totally I don't blame everything. Some of us that caused a lot of what's going on right now with these sisters, man. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of beta male simps, man. The guys causing inflation. You know what I mean? A lot of times, look, I worked in the petrochemical industry for 15 years. I drive now, but I remember when I was in the petrochemical industry, and guys made stupid amounts of money out there, man. Like, and they would be married, man, and they would be just spending ridiculous amounts of money on side women, bro. And that inflates everything for, you know, for the regular brothers out here just trying to enjoy themselves and really trying to keep things grounded and keep them in perspective. It's hard to compete when you got some simp paying all these women's bills and paying their rent while he's still laid up at home with his wife or whatnot. You already got to compete with the government taking care of these women. But a lot of these same simps, some of them passport bros. I'm not going to even lie and stunt to you. Stunt with it. I'm going to tell you the truth. Because they out there, I see them all the time in the DR doing the same thing. They doing the same thing they did over here. Inflating everything. You know, for what it might, like, those people, and most of the countries in Latin America are on the peso. These guys are laying around there, married, traveling down there, giving these women ridiculous amounts of money, going home, sending more money back down there. Man, and you wonder why the guys there are angry. Hell, I'm angry at you. You wonder why the guys there don't really don't really care for you like that. And some of them don't mind because they still getting the woman and they getting your money. But it's ridiculous, man. You know, when you leave America, man, leave all that stuff in America, man. Leave all that simping and all that that ain't nothing wrong with tricking, man. But all that inflation, all that inflating the prices and all that stuff, man, leave that stuff back at home with you. You know, that's the reason why you're leaving in the first place. Because you done gave too much to these women over here. And they heads that got big and, you know, and they, guess what? No matter how much you give women, they gonna always want more. So if you keep giving them more, they gonna keep wanting more. So you gotta lay around there and put a cap on it. Hell, even the NBA got a cap. Football got a cap. You know what I mean? The NFL got a cap. Man, stop inflating the market. Y'all take that same simp mentality on the road with you, and you're ruining paradise for everybody else. Trying to show off. Who you trying to show off for? That same woman you blowing all that money on, you'll get her for way less. What are you doing? Especially if you got a wife, man. What are you doing? You messing it up for the single man. I'm just saying, man. You know, Pookie and Ray Ray ain't the problem, man. Some of y'all need to look in the mirror. That's all I'm saying. And man, stop going tit for tat with them. Well, if some of you want to, I don't mind, because women can be petty. I just find it kind of female when guys do their videos and, oh, I'm over here, and, you know, these women over here, they're way better than black women and this, that, and the other. Man, I love me some black women. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I just don't like some of their ways, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit up and constantly, I'm not gonna poke and go tit for tat with them, even though they ain't gonna be happy because we happy. I'm not gonna go back and forth. Man, I got going on to be going back and forth, trying to antagonize women. You know what I'm saying? That's very female to me. That's a female trait. You know, I expect them to do it, but when I see the fellas doing it, man, that kind of throw me for a loop, man. I don't understand that at all. But just, man, leave me some comments down, man, and tell me what you think about what I'm talking about, man. Are you like me? Do you think the Pookies and Ray Rays are at fault for a lot of what's going on? Or do you think it's a lot of these simps out here that's bitter? And man, because how you start is how you finish. That's what my daddy always told me about relationships. How you start is how you finish. If you start a relationship with your wallet open, you're going to have to finish it with your wallet open. So, y'all ruined a lot of these women, man. Y'all got wives, whatnot, and y'all laying around there throwing money at these women. I mean, ridiculous amounts of money. And then get mad when they constantly want more. You know what I mean? Then you want to blame. Guess what? If you paying for something, it's always a Pookie out there blowing up back out for free. I promise you. Because I'd have been a Pookie before in my lifetime. I know. Yeah, it's always a Pookie out there blowing up back out for free. I'd have been there. I'd have been on both sides of the fence. I'd have been a Pookie before. It took me a while to realize that I was a Pookie back in the days. But, you know, I was in denial. But I think I kind of was a Pookie, man. You know what I mean? I was getting impregnating grown women at 16 years old. So, I guess that kind of do fall in the Pookie category. But, hey, I raised my kids. I only had 2. I didn't try to repopulate the earth. And one of them I raised solo dolo. Then my first baby moms, who was able to co-parent, you know, she got married like a year after my daughter was born, you know, because she was never my woman. She was somebody else's woman. But hey, it is what it is. Like I say, man, you know, you guys can't get mad, man, at these women for what you started. You know, you around here inflating the market. You know what I mean? The word no exists for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. But leave your comments. Is it the fault of the Pookies and the Ray Rays, or is it the fault of the same simps that you might see sitting on the beach beside you, start to inflate the prices out there where you at, enjoying yourself abroad? You know, let me know, man. Comment, like, subscribe, or don't. You know, it is what it is, man. Just let me know, baby. Man, till the next time, man, take it easy.